When my wife, now my ex-wife, was 2 months pregnant, she asked to talk. She confessed that halfway through our relationship and half a year before our marriage, she cheated on me with her best friend. They don't communicate anymore, but this revelation shook me. We had been married for 8 years. She said she wanted to come clean because a child was going to change our lives, and she wanted to start off right, to be good parents with a clean beginning. I asked the most logical question: was the child mine? Knowing she had cheated once, I couldn't help but wonder if she'd done it again. My question made her cry, and although I was furious, I didn't want to hurt her. I left the room to think. Hours later, I was on the sofa, still processing everything. I avoided her during that time. Suddenly, I heard her calling me, almost screaming. I found her in the bathroom, bleeding heavily. We rushed to the hospital, and the doctor said she'd had a miscarriage. It wasn't forced or caused by medication, perhaps an emotional shock, something that had happened to her before. As she lay on the stretcher waiting to be discharged, she asked what I thought about everything. I coldly told her that maybe it was for the best, as a child would complicate the divorce. She cried again. I loved her, but trust was gone. If she could hide a slip for almost a decade, what else was she hiding? Was this just the tip of the iceberg? Our relationship had been good, but now I doubted if her every good deed was out of love or guilt. I planned for divorce. I was relieved that the child wasn't born. It would have made things harder. Despite loving her, I couldn't live with the uncertainty of her actions, and I wasn't forgiving a cheater. In my country, there's something called divorce by mutual agreement. It's quick if both parties agree, have been married for over 2 years, have no minor or disabled children, and have no shared property. We met these conditions. 2 days later, she called me to her father's house to talk. I went with the divorce papers my lawyer had prepared. Her 70-year-old father, who had picked her up from the hospital, was with her. After hours of discussion, she signed the papers. She asked if I hated her. I said I didn't feel the same love, but I respected her courage to confess. I wished her good luck, told her to recover, and said that while I still loved her, I couldn't trust her. We hugged and kissed one last time. I promised to handle everything and to let her know if I needed anything. I took the papers to be legalized by a notary and then to the civil registries. Our divorce should be registered in less than 2 weeks. Although I'm relieved it was resolved easily, there's still a pain in my chest. I'll start therapy next week to get through this. For those wondering why I didn't forgive her infidelity, even after a decade, I grew up in a household where both parents were unfaithful and forgave each other. Their constant arguments made me leave as soon as I could. I don't want to repeat. Cycle or make my future children endure it. A week has passed. I've seen a psychologist and feel I'm improving. I'm hopeful about the future, but I know I need to be more careful in my next relationship. I don't want to mistrust my new partner, but this is tough. I just have to move on. I've already submitted the notarized and signed divorce papers to public records. My status should change to divorced in less than 2 weeks. I haven't called my ex-wife, but I'm glad she has her dad for support.